Unmute me!
Listen to me, you whining little whelp.
From the Gettysburg Tour Studio.
Hey everyone, it's Cameron.
Shut up!
You're listening to Addressing Gettysburg Today.
There's no time. Hello, exactly.
You like to listen to our show still, right?
I'm such an idiot.
That's another great question. Unmute me!
Listen to me, you whining little whelp.
From the Gettysburg Tour Studio.
Hey everyone, it's Cameron.
Shut up!
You're listening to Addressing Gettysburg Today.
There's no time. Hello, exactly.
There's been Protestant. I've tried. I have a hard time with names sometimes.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Addressing Gettysburg Today. And today we are flying by the seat of our pants.
Aren't we always?
More so today than ever, because I've been working on Saturday's show all week that I haven't even thought about today's show. So
Don't lie.
I swear, the only thing this is the only note I have for this one is an email address, and we're gonna wing it. And Veronica is well. First of all, let's not just wing this part. We know this part. This is the other thing I need to do. Show the video here. Happy 39th birthday to Kath, mom of Veronica Ronnie Brestensky.
My spirit animal.
Yes. She is turning 39 again, and happy birthday. They're going to dinner tonight, so Ronnie can't make it to the show. And instead, we have the great Peter Carmichael sitting in once again for Veronica. But Pete can't stay the whole time, so we're going to get right down to business with Peter.
Wait a minute. You said that you put no thought into this episode, and
that's why you're here.
I just wanted to clarify that.
No, you're like my saving grace.
Right.
Yeah. Right. So, Pete, you brought something up to our attention, and Eric and I were talking beforehand, and we were saying, I don't really know what to do with this because we don't know enough about it. So I'm glad that you're here to talk about it. Give us a little background first. This is a what do you call it?
A preservation issue.
It's a preservation issue for sure. But the most recent fight that we won a victory in or with or whatever was about a water tower.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
So recently there was a proposal from the Water Authority of, I assume, of Cumberland Township to put up one water tower. Again, I can't give you the dimensions of it, but I can tell you that it was above the tree line.
Okay.
And that it would have been visible from most of the Gettysburg battlefield. And the community came out, as well as the National Park Service, to express their concern and to suggest other options. It was great to see democracy in action.
Mm-hmm.
And the result is that, I'm going to get the commissions wrong, but I'm going to call them the Planning Commission of Cumberland County. They were unanimous and voted against it. And that was a little bit less than a month ago. So that's a massive victory. And it underscores an issue that's very close to Fur Ridge and close to where those water towers were going to go. And that's over at the old Country Club.
Right.
Used to have the restaurant Sydney's.
Mm-hmm.
And for your listeners, viewers, I can position it right on Route 30, just to the east of her tavern,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you got that intersection right there. You sort of make your way down the hill. Look to your right, you'll see some tennis courts.
Right.
There's a pool that's there. There's the building, the old clubhouse that was Sydney's.
Is that vacant now?
It is. It's been vacant now for a few years.
Oh,
It was
really?
a wonderful restaurant, and unfortunately, as I understand it, the head chef there, had a heart attack. He survived.
Okay.
But enough was enough, and he called it quits. Now there's another Sydney's in
East Berlin.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
I've eaten there before. That's really good.
It's great restaurant. And
Yeah.
it was wonderful as well. And so that property that I am describing, right, where Sydney's once was, the old country club, that's right there on that first day assault, that witnessed Pettigrew's Brigade as well as Broken Bros Virginia Brigade. And it's really kind of the staging area for Broken Bros men as they made their way east across Willoughby Run. And then, of course, Broken Bros Brigade, though, didn't make much of advance. They were sort of close. Of all the Virginia brigades in the Army of Northern Virginia, Broken Bros has the distinction of being the weakest. In fact, one of the regiments, and I can't remember which one, actually had its colors stripped from them, taken from them later in the war.
Really?
Yeah, later in the war. So, in Gettysburg, they struggled on the first as well.
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
third as well. But the point is that parcel of land where Sydney's is located, there is a proposal that's well on its way that will result in apartment complex. I believe more than 150 units, I think, between 125. So you think about the number of people in those units, which is going to be more than 200 people.
Yeah.
But above all else, if your viewers, listeners, if they can imagine that parcel of land and imagine trying to get out on Route 30 as you make your way into the entrance of the Gettysburg National Military Park. So aesthetically, it's going to be horrible because that road for much of the day is crowded. But in my estimation, and note that I am a historian, it seems just dangerous as hell. It seems crazy, insane. I can't imagine that PennDOT, at least I hope PennDOT will not approve it. It should be noted that there was a meeting last week about this proposal with the Cumberland Planning Commission. They have, in a sense, shelved the proposal for September. I have it right in front of me. September 8th. It's a Thursday meeting. The developer will come back and he will have supposedly addressed some of these issues, boxes that he needs to check before it goes for its final approval. I can't tell you a lot of details about the Park Service's stance on this situation. I don't know it.
Right.
I do know that the Battlefield Trust, which has done just, of course, incredible work, I know they don't want this to happen.
Sure.
Again, I'm not certain what they're doing to try to awaken their rank and file to this problem, but time's not on our side. And I just can only imagine what that development will do, not just to the road. And now here's the thing that I'm sure will concern all of us. That ground, which was the old country club, which witnessed Pettigrew's assault across Willoughby Run, hitting the Iron Brigade, that ground now will be in what? The shadow of an apartment complex.
Yeah. And is it right adjacent to the old golf course?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it is, right? Because it's the country. It's the same property.
That's right.
So they just
That's right.
didn't acquire the building part of the property.
Yeah. So, again, I apologize if I get the history of this wrong, but when that property was transferred to the National Park Service, the National Park, and I want to make this clear, did not buy the land.
Okay.
Right? It's within their boundaries.
Right.
Now, within Gettysburg, you'll often hear about how the federal government and the Park Service is after your property. I can assure the people here that the National Park Service does not have the finances for that.
For your property.
How that land was eventually transferred to the Park Service, I believe the Land Conservancy, not of Adams County, a Land Conservancy, a national organization, I believe they bought the land.
Okay.
They then gave it to the trust,
Okay.
which was then the Civil War Trust,
Yeah.
who then transferred it to the Park Service, who could do it, right, because it's within the boundaries. So
Sure.
the idea, someone said to me, well, why didn't the Park Service just buy it all then? Like, they made a huge mistake. Well,
They didn't make them. They didn't
have the money. They didn't have the
Right.
resources. It's the same thing about Lee's headquarters. I heard time and time again, look what the Park Service did. They came in and they made that man, it was ABC, right? Not Blanchard Brinkman.
Yeah.
They basically took his business away from him. No.
He moved it.
He wanted to sell it, right?
Right.
And I think they knew him. That we can circle back to what's happening now with this development. And as I spoke at this planning commission, and I think about those Union soldiers who fought on McPherson's Ridge, mostly the Iron Brigade, in my mind, because from
It's
the
Midwesterner,
Midwest, right?
yeah.
But listen, those guys, they believed in the promise of social mobility, and they thought that they came from a society that was not inflicted by slavery, and the result was that a white man would have an opportunity to pull himself up by the bootstraps. And what's central to that? they believed was the ownership of property. That was absolutely crucial. You had to own property, and you should have the right to be able to use and dispose of that property as you see fit. I, too, believe in the sanctity of private property, but like those Union soldiers, they also recognize one, that individual interest had to be subordinated in certain times for the collective good. Right? For the collective good. And that's what we're facing here, right? This property is going to benefit just a handful of people in a significant financial way. But it is going to cause great harm to the historic landscape. It's going to send a message to every person who comes to Gettysburg, who enters the park, going down Route 30 from west to east. It's going to say to them as a community, we don't value this sacred ground. We value profit, prosperity, in a sense, over the historical message and legacy of that place. And so I think a hell of a lot is at stake. And I just want to remind everyone, if you have not been to the Old Country Club, I hope all of you have been. Walk that trail. Man, what a great spot. No? On the Gettysburg,
it's beautiful.
It's absolutely beautiful.
It's quiet.
It's tucked away.
No
man.
tourists.
It's the old Harmon farm, right? It's the Harmon farm. And to think that landscape is going to be impacted, and I hope to God that we can find a way to stop it. The guy bought, just to note that property was bought for $800,000. There were offers made immediately from some people in the neighborhood who wanted to be able to take it and preserve it, and he said absolutely no. I have no idea what the price tag is on it now. I suspect it's more than $800,000.
Probably because he could get more money from someone who wants to develop it. Is that what he's holding out?
Well, the guy who bought it's the developer. I'm going to reference what I have seen in the past. I have no idea if it speaks accurately to what's happening now at the Country Club. But what has happened in the past with battlefield preservation is that often a developer will get a piece of land. Preservation groups, of course, they're fighting a million fires. They come to it late. The developer sort of sits back and gets an inflated price from it and goes straight to the bank. I am not saying that that's what's happening at the Country Club.
Right.
I'm not
we don't
saying
know
that.
anything
I have
about
no
that.
idea.
Right.
But I know, remember the great Manassas.
I was just going to.
That's a good example.
I was just going to bring this up. If anybody listening is in the area and goes, well, what's the big deal? There's already apartments across the road from there. There's already buildings there. Big deal. So what? Let them build apartments. Go to Manassas and go up where the visitor center is, and go on Chin Ridge and look at the back of the movie theater.
It's awful.
Through the trees. And it's right up to the road, basically. It's ugly.
And the traffic down at the Sudley Road, Warrenton. It's in Warrenton, right? It's the Stonehouse, right?
Yes.
It's right there. Look at that traffic, man. It's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, we already have a stoplight on Route 30, and we need one right there on McPherson's Ridge.
Right.
Now,
we're going to have another one getting out of that
absolutely
complex.
Well, you're going to now have 3 stoplights. That's my prediction. Again, I don't know that for a fact.
Within a 1/10 of a mile.
Think of the big backlog. Think of those trucks. If all of us have noticed, at least I have, the significant increase of semis that go up and down 30. I mean, again, it's dangerous as hell, not to mention all the noise and everything else. So a lot is at stake here, and time, like I said, is not on our side.
No, it's so okay. So what do people do if they want to support the fight against this?
Yeah. So within the community, I've encouraged people to go to the PEN.webpage, and it's very easy to access, and it has a place for you to register concerns. And you can see that these concerns are range. Well, first you get to identify on the map exactly the area that you're worried about. And then you can register your concern. And there are just a range of them. And the one that I was concerned about was potential congestion, right, and traffic problems. That's one way. The PEN.website, go to it. You'll see the map. You know that area. It's on Route 30 between Her Ridge and the entrance of the park. That's the area that is going to be impacted by this. That's one way. But I think we have another way that you have the email address
Well,
for.
before we get to that,
sure,
if you're not from this area or from Pennsylvania, PennDOT is Pennsylvania Department of Transportation. So just Google it and find the website for that. I mean, it's probably pen.gov or something, right?
.gov, yeah, it's real simple.
Yeah, something like that.
It's real simple.
Just try the Google machine. That's all. And then the other way you could do it is this email address that we have here. That's going to go on the screen in a second. It's on Pete's camera, and then you got to make it.
It's on both of them.
Oh, look at that. You did that. You carried it over. No apartments at Gettysburg.com. Or I'm sorry, at gmail.com. No apartments at Gettysburg at gmail.com. Who is that they're emailing?
Laura is her first name.
Laura.
And she lives
Laura.
Laura.
Okay.
Yes. And she lives in the area there as well as I do, like I said. And it's been, really encouraging to see how many locals have come to these meetings and expressed their concerns in a very passionate way about the history and about, what it's going to say as a community that we would invite this in. I'll just make the point that what is happening is so disturbing is I get that the water authority, they need more customers, but they grant approval to developers, but they don't have the water.
They don't have the water.
They don't have the water. And they continue to do this. And then it's like, the toothpaste is out and you can't put it back in because look at her ridge right now.
Yeah.
They have decapitated her ridge. And look west, my friends. I hope you all, I'd be happy to, go with some folks. Go west of her ridge. That is the area that Longstreet's men took on their flanking attack on July 2nd.
Mm-hmm.
It is spectacular. It is so beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
And if you keep going, you can go to Land of Little Horses. Have you been to Land of Little Horses yet?
I have not.
We got to go. You and I are going to go.
All right.
Together.
Okay.
Right. And we've got some inside. I got some inside contacts. My daughters work there.
Oh, nice. Okay, good. Yeah, well, let's go because I want to check it out because I want to suggest it maybe when my nephew and niece come down, something to do. And I've never been, so I don't know. So let's do that.
What I'm looking for is the show in which they take some little Shetland ponies and they put fake horns on them for unicorns. I mean, I'm living for that. That's where my life is right now. That's what excites me.
That'd be funny.
A unicorn?
So let me ask you this here. So, not ask you this, but here's something I've noticed, and this is a thing that concerns me. The amount of cookie cutter neighborhoods that are being put up around Gettysburg. Right. And, here's the thing. Northern Virginia, Maryland, New Jersey, Delaware, I guess, you're all getting too expensive and you're forcing your people out here. And which is fine. I moved out here, but I moved out here to partake in what already exists, not live in something new that is going to ruin things. And so, north of town, we've got these neighborhoods.
Amblebrook is the one you're referring to,
right? And then there's one currently being built out on Hers Ridge, down the south end of Hers Ridge, across the street from one that's been there for a couple of years already.
That's right.
Yeah, I hate being a NIMBY, but I'm starting to become a NIMBY. Like, get out, not in my backyard. Like, stop with this.
NIMBY.
Yeah, not in my backyard.
I like that. Well,
usually they're people that are retired that start becoming NIMBYs, but I'm ahead of the game.
Yeah, that delicate balance between growth and preservation or conservation. I'm glad that my job is relatively insignificant and I don't have real authority to make those decisions because they're tough ones. But I'll say this, a place like Amblebrook, which is right on 15, which is north of the battlefield, and that's contained. And, I think that's going to be wonderful for our historical community because we know so many people who are inspired by this place and they can't wait to live here.
Yeah.
And if you look at Amblebrook in terms of the houses, they're really close together, right?
They are.
It's a compact place. But you're right, there are other areas where they're just, of course, bulldozing with impunity. And I'll say this, another plug, and this would be a great guy to have on your show. David Salisbury heads with some other people, it's not just a one-man show, the Land Conservancy of Adams County.
Okay.
And they do great work. And we should, have him on. You should talk to him and what they've done. Obviously, their goal is not just to save battlefield land, but they have worked with the trust. And they've done some really incredible and important things, working with locals, preserving, this rural landscape that all of us love so much. And it comes down to good planning and thoughtfulness and thinking about community and recognizing that property rights do matter. And you own a property and you want to make something out of it, then you probably should be able to do that. But obviously, there's always a give and a take there. And when you have a group like the Land Conservancy, hopefully, right, where you get farmers there who will sell maybe their developing rights, they'll do something so we don't get to where we are right now with the country club. We'd like to avoid more of that because, yes, in the last 2 to 3 years, I've been shocked where I live, again, west of town, over by Her Ridge, man, that is a very different landscape, a very different world.
And, another thing, ladies and gentlemen, we can probably do something, our little Addressing Gettysburg universe here. I think if we had about 150,000 patrons, I could probably buy that property from the guy at whatever price he's asking, and then we can tear down the buildings, and then I would turn it over to the park if they're allowed to take it.
Well, what about your cut, though?
My cut of what?
Your cut from all these donations. Do you get a little bit?
Well,
of a cut from this?
I would put some aside
You
over
put some-
the course of years. You know, they'd have to hold these 150,000 for at least 2 years.
At least.
Yeah, and then keep some for myself and put the rest away
Good. Just
for
wanted to
this
get that
purpose.
clear.
Yeah.
But your point is we need to remind everyone that property where the country club's located is within the boundary of the Park Service.
Right.
But let's make it clear, National Park Service can't just get out the checkbook here.
Exactly.
They don't have the power.
They
and the
need help.
authority to do that. They absolutely. And again, I don't know their stance on this. The water towers, they opposed it. A quick anecdote about the water towers. Some of the folks who came there did a brilliant job. They had photographs with the water tower imposed on what it would look like, right? And again, towering above the wood line. Okay, so now the response from the water authority, this person said, they asked her, are these photographs, are they accurate? Are they fair? And the person from the water authority said, absolutely, they are fair, except we would not paint them red. We would paint them blue so they would blend in with the sky. It was worth coming. I just almost said, thank you very much, folks. I'm done for the evening. I'm
Thank you.
leaving.
Good night.
It cannot get better than this at this precise
Be
moment.
sure to tip your waitress. Well, okay, so that's the what was that? No apartments at Gettysburg at gmail.com.
Yeah, I like I said, I appreciate you all. Anyone who can spread the word and do this. We don't have a lot of time. We have just a few more weeks. Write the trust if you want as well. I've tried to write the trust, and I know that they have concerns there, but I don't know what they're actually doing.
But who's got the authority to stop it?
Well,
That's who we should be writing.
Well, again, this is where I get these things.
All right, so
off
then
a
that's
little
why you
bit.
need to send an email to Laura.
You send to Laura, we'll send it
And
to
she'll
this,
tell you.
So this next commission, they have to make a recommendation, and there's a final planning commission. They have the final say so. And again, I'm sorry that I don't know the individuals, nor do I know the date. That final date is much later in the fall, but we have one that's coming, this one in early September, and we'd like, again, for this committee to not recommend it. That's what we're looking for
Right.
here. We want them to say no. They've already said no. It's in part because the developer has not checked all the boxes yet. I'm sure he's working like hell to get that done.
I think that would be great, though, if that could eventually fall into the hands of the Park Service, and maybe they could use that as a parking lot for whatever they're going to do with the rest of the country club, because it's easier to access than the actual, than what they have now.
Yeah, there's so many ways that you could use that building. The main thing is we don't want, hundreds of people living in a little square box.
Right. Now, another thing that you wanted to address, and I don't want to keep you, so I want to get to these things quickly. Another thing you wanted to address was, we're not naming names, but
Not naming names.
this big debate. So you and I always have this argument. You say, I'm a historian. I say, I'm not a historian. I'm a host. And then you throw this term public historian around, which frankly, I've heard the term before, and every time I've heard it come out of someone's mouth, I get what they call douche chills. And it just sounds douchey to me.
It does. I agree.
It sounds to me like
Right.
someone with no bona fides claiming that they're a historian, and I'm a public historian, and therefore, but because all the people that I've heard it from say
you can get a degree in that now, right?
well, no. So that's the thing. So now you can get a degree in it, but to me, it sounds made up.
It started in the 1970s, and it came out of really, in a sense, a crisis on the academic side where there just simply weren't a lot of jobs, and where there was a recognition that there are historians working at cultural institutions, historic parks and such. And so that those individuals, that they were historians by training, and that going on for an advanced degree in which it was centered not just in learning history, but learning about how to communicate and engage public audiences, whether it be through talks or exhibits, audiovisual, all those things, right? And so then the field's taken off, and the field of public history at academic institutions is alive and well. At Gettysburg College, we have a minor in public history.
Right.
But your point's well taken, because public history people, that's the irony of it, right? The people don't understand what the hell you're talking about.
Well, I mean,
It doesn't make any sense.
There's some
It's just
people
how
I
it
know
is.
who have used the term to describe themselves, and they don't have a major in public history or a minor. They don't even have a history degree necessarily, but they want to do an Instagram channel or something, and then it sounds like a name anyone can use, a title anyone can use.
It is, and I do believe, for the most part, that everybody's their own historian.
Well, yes.
And so I'd like those labels to sort of be pushed aside, recognizing the degrees, I think, do matter. We believe that. I mean,
Sure.
I met some guy, he's like, Pete, I've been interested in dentistry all my life. I've been studying this.
I'm a public dentist.
And come on, man, sit in my chair. I dig it. Right now, I'm going to probably say, yeah, I don't think I want to try that out.
I would not dig that.
Right, I would not. So, I mean, but that doesn't mean that a degree necessarily makes you a good historian or an engaging one. I certainly think it makes a difference in some key ways. But the point is, and what you and I hope agree upon, is that these divisions that continue to surface that trouble me so much, when I and others have spent so much of their career creating a real sense of community, man, I love coming here. I love working with you. We have a great time, and we're talking and dealing with history, and there's so many ways of skinning this cat. But every time this debate, and it's just emerged with the death of David McCullough, that people start making some crazy overgeneralizations. And ironically, many of them come from the so-called public historians who are of the people and who are damning academics who are criticizing McCullough. And
so let's give a little, let's fill the audience in here what we're talking about. So David McCullough dies, and you've been seeing online people, it kind of surprised you in their critiques of, I guess, is David McCullough considered a popular historian, like a pop historian, I guess?
Yeah.
You know,
So-
it's kind of like Leif Garrett versus Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
Like he's the Leif Garrett.
Yeah,
I don't know why I said Leif Garrett.
Yeah,
but
don't
you know
take
what I mean.
Leaf down. I love Leaf. Tiger Beat. Didn't we all? Come on. We're all looking at your sister's Tiger Beat thinking, God, I wish I had hair like Leaf Garrett.
We weren't even born yet, my
don't
sister
even know
and
what
I.
you guys are
Jeez.
talking
I know, exactly. I don't know why I picked something from before I was
Oh
born.
my God, that's all. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know you were.
Justin Timberlake versus,
Okay.
well, there's no good bands anymore, so it's hard to do. But my point is, is that the way he was viewed by some people?
Listen, there is no doubt that many academic historians were critical of his work. The idea they were critical of him just because it's popular is a reductionist view of that. So I'll make 2 points here. First, a number of academic historians thought that McCullough's work romanticized the founders, particularly when it came to issues of race and slavery. I disagree with that point. And that leads to my second, and I think the most pressing issue here, is to just blanket condemn academic historians is an absurdity. It'd be like me saying, look, there's every battlefield historian here at Gettysburg just cares about drums and bugles, right flank, left flank, man. They want to argue about 15 minutes at the peach orchard. That's all, come on, that's wrong, right?
Right.
And so if I bring that trope up and I get a good joke out of it, I can assure you that the public historians and the battlefield guides would not take kindly to my joke.
Absolutely.
And they should not take kindly to it, because what has recently happened and what's happened on a Facebook page that I saw is that people who I have worked with, who I respect, I thought that they took some really unfair shots at academic historians. Look, if you're going to call somebody out, have the knowledge and then the guts to do it by name. So David Wallstreicher, he's a first-rate scholar, but he's gone hard after McCullough. I think, again, he's wrong. But this Facebook conversation...
Well, what does he say about McCullough?
Well, he's about the whole issue of race. He says that McCullough's work should not, in essence, is not work that is credible, because David McCullough looked at the founders with romantic eyes. And again, I think that he's wrong about that. I think that McCullough was critical.
I don't necessarily think that any work that is overly critical of anything is also credible. Like, just because it's a bias. There's biases both ways.
Right. No, absolutely. And again, listen, disagree with David Wallstreicher and all these others who are taking on. Yeah, as you just did. Just do it. But what? Call the person by name. Don't do this. It's really bad for the profession. And it's particularly, I think, hurtful here in the Gettysburg community. I've worked really hard, and others has, as I've said. I respect my fellow, historians here at the park. We have done so much together. We've broken down these barriers. Those things might seem harmless, and the jokes might seem like, oh, laugh, and it doesn't mean anything. But I assure you that the anti-intellectualism that comes out of it, it sticks.
Yeah.
And we got to stop it. And it's not doing us any good at all. So, I said to you, and I mean it, some of these individuals who made these comments about academic historians, these just sweeping condemnations, bring them on the show here. Batter up. Because you know what? I know these individuals.
Sure.
I respect them. I'd love to have an open conversation with them. But they better be ready, and they better be ready to name some names.
I would do that if they would do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I bet they won't.
Of course, everybody has an open invitation to come here, and you're right; they have to accept it.
Right.
But now, so public historian, we've defined that. Right. Now, what? Now, an academic historian, and I'm asking this for the sake of the listener who's
Absolutely.
like, I'm not really into this as much as you guys are. So, what the hell are you talking about?
So yeah,
what's an
academic
historian?
historian would have an advanced degree, at least a master's, probably a PhD. An academic historian is writing that's engaging the historiography. That's the crucial difference.
So he's contributing to the record.
And engaging it, and often debating it, often taking issue with it. And so when an academic historian has his dissertation, and why many topics are so narrow, that topic has to make a contribution.
Right.
Now listen, am I going to be able to write a book, a dissertation on the Army of Northern Virginia? No. Joe Glattauer's book, General Lee's Army, has done that. Now, could I, though, take issue with part of Glattauer's work? Absolutely. Let's just say desertion. I have some problems with that. So now my dissertation is on North Carolina troops deserting in the fall of 1863. People might say, what in God's name? Why are you writing about something so focused, right? So narrow. You got to do it at the academic level to get street cred, because you are what? You are part of now this conversation. And that conversation means it's original research. That means going to archives, right? That means footnotes, right? That's right. That means when you get published, your manuscript goes to outside readers. They read. They offer critiques. You got to respond to that. I mean, it is a process. Right. That's a scholarly deal. And yeah, some of it's BS, but good God, we all live in businesses that there's elements of it that's BS.
BS everywhere.
Yeah, but so, you rise above that, and this is what bothers me in general about the world. There's, you know what? Our lives here are pretty damn good, wouldn't you say?
I would say.
And I would say in this country, and it's been for a really long time, pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Stop the whining, stop the complaining, stop the negativity. Focus on the good things that our people are doing. That doesn't mean we can't have debates and disagreements. Of course we can.
Yeah.
Of course we can.
But that's how good we have it, is that it's not that people whine, because I'm sure people who have it horrible are whining a lot more.
And there's a lot of people who have it horrible.
But it's what we whine about and what we choose to sling our arrows at.
That's right.
That shows how good it is in this country, that you can actually worry about David McCullough, a dead man, a man who just dies, and all you're going to do is like rip the get into that whole academic versus public historian
Which
thing.
is so tired. I just think
everything is so tired though. So okay, what is the solution to this though? Because I would say that part of the anti-intellectualism that we see out there had to have started in lower level academia, like elementary school. Like there's a lack of respect for intellectuals, for academics, for professors, teachers, whatever, scientists, whoever. There's a lack of respect for people who know, who teach us. Right. So where does that come from, and how do we fix that?
You know what? I think that's just an incredible and important question, and it's above my pay grade. I think you've identified some of the origins of it.
I think I know the answer.
I think some of the. Well, I'd love to know it. Yeah. What do you think?
You have to take a test to be a parent, because the problem is with the parents.
Right.
The parents go in and say, you told my little Johnny that he can't talk in class because of this, that, because he pulled Susie's hair, whatever the hell it is. Johnny can do no wrong. And so the teachers are, they're left like their tits on a bull. They're useless.
I think so. Yes, I think that they're handcuffed in many ways, and I think we're already seeing some of the current debates. Everyone talks cancel culture, but when they talk cancel culture, they always point to the other side of the aisle. Of course. Both sides are so absolutely guilty of it. Yeah. And again, in a sense, that sort of is a testament to the strength of our democracy, that people can fight about these things. But, ultimately for me, I want to see young people that have a great sense of intellectual curiosity, and I don't know if we cultivate that. And I'm not talking about parenting now, I'm talking about schools, and I'll just say, and this is talking about a sweeping generalization, I feel for teachers and administrators because, the system in which we put kids in is a system to make sure that they're good workers. You think of the timetable they're on is outrageous.
Yeah.
My kids have 20 minutes to eat lunch. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
There's no time for real thought. I've been reading a book about Denmark, and I'm not suggesting suggesting that it is a perfect place, but it is pretty remarkable what they do with young people. And I mean, from the get-go, ways to get them to think outside of themselves. And I think that, what you guys do, it contributes to helping people recognize that the power of this place and of this history.
The shed?
If we're going to get in this shed, right? But you do the hard work inside here, and it helps people, right, come together. I mean, you have Saturday. How many people do you think you'll have?
We've been for the tours. We've had 85 everyone, and then we have about 85 coming to the show at night.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the same, but yeah.
Right.
It's not the same people. It's not all the same people. But yeah, so I mean, it's working. But what's your point?
But my point is that whenever we can rally people together and that they have intellectual interest and to get them to think deeply about the world that they inhabit, and that we know that many of the problems we confront today have a very, very long history to that.
Yeah.
And I know that when we're on the battlefield that we can't address those issues, but what we are doing is that we're reminding all of us that we are thinking people. And that we can have conversations with you. We can bring in your guest in here and have conversations and debates here, and we can do it in a civil way. So there is my answer. The hell, none of us can change the damn world, right? But we certainly can change our local community.
Absolutely.
And I'm proud to be in this town of Gettysburg. I'm proud that I can be here and to talk about this and to hope that, we're going to be able to stop it. If we don't stop it, well, we went down swinging, right?
Right.
And there'll be
That's
other
right.
issues as well. So I just, more and more I live in this place, more and more I love this community and what this community stands for and what it is and the promise of what it can become.
You know what's interesting, though, about this whole anti-academic historian sentiment out there is I don't know who the hell they're talking about. Like, I've had you on. I've had Carolyn Janey on. I've had a lot
Jen
of people.
Murray yet?
Who? Jen Murray, yeah. I love Jen. She's been on, we had her on once here, and we were talking about the Beavers and Little Round Top and the Cornhole and 4th of July. And then she's going to come on again later on in the season, I think. And so around Christmas, that's when it was. We're going to do it around Christmas when she's back up here.
Yeah, that's right.
And but we've had a bunch of people on. We have a wall of fame back there with people and their signatures.
I on the wall of fame?
Did you sign it?
Oh, man, no.
You're going to do it before
Too
you
late
leave.
now.
No.
Too late now. Nope,
We're constantly adding to
I
it.
should have signed first time I was here.
You should have, and I should have asked you. But you know what? We cover it with a flag, so I always forget it's there. That's why I wrote Wall of Fame under the flag, so I remember.
I just did something with Jen. It was fantastic. We did Lee's Retreat last week, which I had done like 15 years ago. I don't know if any of you all have ever done Lee's Retreat, but man, it's a powerful, powerful story, of course. And it was a great day. It was wonderful.
But my point was that I haven't had one person who was stuffy,
Right.
one person who talked down to me.
Right.
You're not regular people, and that's what I like about having you guys on is that it shows everybody that you're not assholes.
Well,
you're,
to be
Most
fair,
of them. Listen, there are a few that are out there. Right. There are a few out there.
well, we
fair.
haven't had them. What?
when Pete's got his scarves on,
Yeah, he's a little more of an asshole.
he looks rather unapproachable.
We've gone through this, and I'm going to even be more unapproachable because it's not a show without making fun of my clothing decisions. And did I tell you what I got for Father's Day for my girls and from
I'm
Beth?
gonna guess scarves.
No.
Okay.
No, even better. I got ready.
An ascot.
No, a fashion consultant.
Oh,
She's coming over to the house.
Wow.
And she's gonna go through my wardrobe and say,
Wait a second.
I'm green, brown, red color challenge, so I don't.
So you
know how
don't
to
have
match.
much of that?
No, I have a lot. I just don't know how to match it. So she'll get the clothes, and I'm just gonna and she's gonna take pictures.
So do your daughters not think that you have a good fashion sense?
No, they just want me. I have the largest, wardrobe in the house, and they want me to make better use of it. That's all. That's it. That's it.
That's my favorite part.
Yeah, that's the best part, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the best part.
Well, all right. So good for you for that, though. I would love to have a fashion consultant. That would be great.
Well, I
You
can send
need
you.
one.
I can
I
send you
know.
her
That's
name.
why I would love to have
I'll
one.
send you her name.
Will your daughters pay for me too, or?
I suspect my wife
I'm
paid, not my
pretty
daughters.
I'm pretty sure
Free
she-
ride there.
So
as
who's
usual.
sending you the message? Your wife or your daughters, or all three of them?
Oh, no, it's Father's Day. I opened it up. I was like, what is this? And it was like so many hours with this fashion consultant. She's just wonderful. So she came over. She did a survey of my wardrobe. And then she's like, we've got 3 hours in September. And she's like, well, she's just going to be intense. and she brings out racks, puts my clothes on there. I know. Why
So
am
we're
I
gonna have
admitting-
to keep
This is- You know why I
That's
come here?
fantastic.
This is like therapy for me. This is therapy for me. I'm quite
Coming to
certain
the
that's-
show.
I think this is what I'm doing.
See, and I leave
what-
here and I need things.
right.
That's all different effects on people.
Yeah, well, who in their right mind would admit to this? But I just did. So.
Well, you know,
Okay.
it makes an entertaining
Whatever.
show,
Makes
so
for
it's
sure.
fine.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah, well, you know, of course you're welcome here anytime you want. You don't need to have an invitation if you want to just come and hang out, or if you actually have something academics to talk about. We'll talk to academics. We don't have a problem with academics.
So you'll have me on just when you're not desperate and you don't know what to do.
Yeah, I'll have
Okay,
you on.
that's good.
Well,
So we'll plan it out.
we're overdue for that, like an actual,
Right,
you know, time to have you on to talk about history.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Well, we talked a little history here.
we did.
Yeah,
we did.
talked
No,
a
we
little
did,
bit.
and we talked. You know,
Well, I love talking about books. I'm going to tell you what I'm reading now. That I only read parts of until my Lee's Retreat trip.
okay.
Kent Masterson Brown's Lee's Retreat.
Yes.
Man, I've just enjoyed that immensely. So much. I'm only about a quarter of the way through. It's great.
Well, he's a great example of someone. In fact, I was going to bring it up that we had him on, and I was really nervous because I never met him,
Yeah.
and I was nervous that he was going to be stuffy and highbrow, and you know, feel like he's put upon,
Right.
doing this, but he's doing it to support a book, and hopefully it'll do something. And so I really prepared. Like I read and took notes and formulated questions and everything. And before we started the show, we were just talking to each other. Hi, how you doing? And it was over Skype or whatever. And I threw the notes right out. I was like, this guy is nothing like I thought. And here's the reason I thought he was going to be that way. The bow tie.
Bow tie. He's always like Keith Bohannon, bow tie guy as well.
Well, but it's like complete opposite. And so I think a lot of people, maybe they don't hear from these people, they don't meet these people, and so they just judge them by the way they look, or when they're presenting, they're a little more polished and professional, which comes off sometimes as stuffy, maybe.
Absolutely.
It's a shame.
See the man, not the bow tie, just like the scarf. See the man, not the scarf. Right?
Exactly. But that's the lesson learned on both of you.
Absolutely. I heard Kent Masterson Brown speak when I was 15, and he came up to the Indianapolis Civil War Roundtable and gave a talk on July 3rd, Confederate artillery, and it was great, and for me that's against, like, I edited Kent's book.
Right.
I was one of the editors for that, right? And to be able to work with a guy that was like a childhood hero. That's
Sure.
no exaggeration. It's
Well,
great.
that's like having you on. I feel like a childhood hero.
Yeah, absolutely.
You
had Willie Pegram, Lee's Young Artillerist, my first book. Which, have you ever seen that? Yeah. So that book has sold better than any of my other books because it was published in the heyday of Civil War publishing.
Okay.
UVA published it, and my high school
Is it
friends.
still in print?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Because it's an academic press. Academic presses will keep books in print for a very long time, so it's still in paper. Pegram, if you've not seen him and want to look him up, Dustin Hoffman, duplicates.
Really?
Absolute duplicates.
You're
Dustin
casting
Hoffman.
his biopic already.
Well, Dustin's a little too old to play him now, but yeah, they look very similar.
Well, you could play him. Well, whatever. Oh yeah. No, he absolutely does look like.
Absolutely does. Yeah.
Yeah, young Dustin Hoffman. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Good one. Good call. Good call.
Yeah. So I hope you won't do what my high school friends did, because of course high school friends they know the real deal about you, right? And as soon as the book came out, they went on Barnes and Noble and left, of course, just utterly ridiculous reviews. And they knew that I studied with Dr. Gallagher, and so one of my friends wrote, impersonating me, wrote, Gallagher was great in seminar, especially when he smashed watermelons after the community. I was like, guys, I know. But pretended it was me, right? I was like, you really shouldn't do that. Right? But with high school friends, right, you can't say don't do it, because if you
then
say
they'll do it.
don't do it, they'll just do it more. So you just got to take it, right? You
That's
got to
great.
take it. Yeah, that's wonderful.
But Gary Gallagher, though, you gave me his email address to invite him on the show, and he just came back and he said, I don't think I'm Gettysburg enough for you. And I even dropped your name, and I was like, what?
Yeah, that was your problem.
That was probably it. He's like, I don't want to deal with anybody that idiot suggests.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, he's at a stage of his career where he's pulling back some.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
He's pulling back
Understandable,
some. Yeah,
understandable.
Absolutely.
I only grew up seeing him on every Civil War show ever, and many of them were Gettysburg ones, so I don't know why he can't talk about Gettysburg.
Absolutely. Well, he does.
I should have cornered him at the conference. I didn't. I had a few chances where I could have, and I said, you know what? I don't want to act like a bully.
I'll work on him. I don't think he's coming up here anytime soon. Yeah, I don't think he is. But
Well, he
we'll
definitely
work
isn't
on him.
now.
Yeah, he's definitely not coming on the show now. Do
He
you
had
want
his chance, right?
Yeah.
He had his chance. Done.
Never
wanna,
coming to
uh,
Gettysburg again.
you want to take a phone call?
Sure, of course.
I think this comes all the way from the great state of North Dakota. Is this our buddy Cam?
Yes, Cameron.
Hey!
Hey! Alderson brought us into you, Cameron.
I see how it is.
What's that? What's going on, Cam?
I've just been working, traveling around, visiting different sites,
I bet you were.
dealing with military history.
What's the most recent site you visited?
I went to Fort Abraham Lincoln.
Oh, how far is that from the Little Bighorn?
I don't know how far it is from Little Bighorn,
More
but it's about
importantly.
2 hours from Fort Union.
More importantly,
Fort-
how far is Little Bighorn from you?
Yeah. How far is Little Bighorn
Oh,
from where
my
you are right now?
3 hours.
3 hours. Okay. And how long does it take to get back?
It takes about 3 hours.
Okay, it still takes 3 hours. So, have you? What's the latest with your Park Service job search? Are you done looking for a job for fall? Are you teaching? What's going on with you?
Well, I just actually had an interview for Bighorn Canyon. They want me as an interpreter out there for career seasonal.
So to like interpret West Virginia into English?
No, interpret some of the Native American history with Little Bighorn.
I forgot
and
you
with
speak
the Custer
Comanche.
fighting.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, very fun.
Don't you though?
You got your geographic wrong.
Oh, I'm sorry. Where is it?
Bighorn Canyon's in Montana.
Of course it is. Bighorn, naturally. Why did I say Comanche? I meant to say Cheyenne.
I thought it was Iroquois.
And actually, no, actually it's Crow.
Crow.
The
You
whole
speak
area
Crow.
that the battle was,
Okay.
the whole area that the battle was fought on is Crow.
Give us an example of, just say one sentence in Crow, please.
Caw-caw.
Eric
Yeah,
got it.
that'll work.
No, you don't know any Crow yet? You're learning.
I think that was actually Crip, honestly.
I'm actually trying to learn some Arikara.
Ooh, Arikara. I like that. I like the name of that. You know, Arikara. That's
Like
a
the-
cool
My
name.
one,
Like the chair?
my one.
No,
my-
not a rocking chair.
Oh.
Arikara. They were also Sioux, weren't they?
Don't they make those in, like, Vietnam?
no,
Oh, no, that's like wicker or rattan.
no, they
All right.
weren't. My one supervisor was. He's related and was also a full-blooded Arikara.
Okay. Do you have a question for Peter Carmichael? Great professor, doctor, Gettysburg College, head of the Civil War Institute,
And public historian.
and public historian.
Ooh.
Sure.
Oh.
I'm working still on the casualties of Gettysburg. Trying to create a huge database of all the casualties,
Right.
and I'm wondering what resources does the Civil War Institute have?
Well,
I'm got about 30,000 names in now.
Wow. Well, we don't have anything original that would probably help you, but I'm sure you're familiar with Robert K. Crick's Confederate Dead at Gettysburg. It's one of the first publications. And then the Bussies, right? They did.
Buseys.
Buseys, I said, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to meet them. They did just incredible
Yeah.
work. So, you know, I mean, that kind of takes care of a lot of it. I mean, if
Well,
you're,
isn't that what you're using, Cam? The Busey and Busey books?
Yeah, I got all the Busey, and I got some of the, I forget his name. He's one of the early historians of casualties of the battle.
Robert K. Crick did a book called Confederate Dead at Gettysburg that Morningside published. It was in Morningside. And that was some time ago, like in the 70s, that was done. but maybe there's something before that.
So what Cameron is doing is he is computerizing. Correct me if I'm wrong here, Cameron. He's computerizing into a database all the casualties of the battle, and I guess he's going through Busey and just kind of
and just extracting from
yeah.
Well, certainly make it more accessible. So.
And then he's going to charge people $50 a pop to access it.
No, I'm actually going to give it. The casualties at Gettysburg are no dealing tools.
No what?
I would not use them to make deals.
Yeah.
Those men sacrifice so much for this country.
Uh-huh. Okay. Are you, so what are you going to do? Just give it to anybody who wants it?
Hopefully it can be used by the Park Service because so many people still come to battlefields, even other battlefields in the South, to look for their relatives that fought and died at the battle.
You know, I think you should do that. You should just, put it out there for free. And then I'll sell it to the park. What do you think of that?
You can do whatever you want.
There you go. Well, Cam, listen, I can't wait. I hope I know you're coming back to teach, right, in the fall?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll be in September.
All right. Well, then I hope that when you get back, you'll stop and see us and let us know when you get home so that we can hang out with you. We've missed you. It's been a long, cold, lonely summer, Cameron.
Well, I've been gathering a lot of amazing information about men that fought the Civil War and how they expanded their military career into the after the war.
Mm-hmm.
I've been able to visit a lot of Native Americans.
On the average, Cam, how far did they all go after the war? On average, how far did they all go from Little Bighorn?
I couldn't tell you that because I'm still actually kind of working on that to see how many actually fought in the 7th Cav that was from the Civil War. I know Miles Keogh. Miles Keogh.
Miles Keogh, Tom Custer, George Custer, the other guy, the tall one, the short one, the one with the beard. A lot of them were in there. Yeah. I think Cook was. Yeah, a lot of the guys were in the Civil War. Benteen, Reno.
Yeah.
The list goes on.
Got all the galvanized Yankees.
That's right. Well, yeah. So, okay. Let us know when you get back, Cameron. Eric's putting on the red light.
Right.
He actually changed the batteries to right the lights. So I think he's sending me a message here. But yeah, let us know when you get back. Right. We miss the hell out of you, buddy. Okay.
All right.
And hey, listen, Cam, I want to hear you say it.
Yeah.
Otterson Broderson, buddy.
Broderson.
There you go. Thank you.
I got it right now.
You got it. All right. That's the great Cam Mallow, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks, Cam. See you later. I thought he would have a better question for you, but because he's usually interested in water towers and things, and I figured maybe he would want to ask about that, but no, he didn't. So I'm sorry. Well, all right, Pete, I've kept you longer than you wanted to be kept.
Yep, I need to go.
I know, and I'm sorry about that.
Making dinner for my daughter.
I always enjoy talking to you, so that's my fault. I was being hoggish there.
Selfish.
Yeah, selfish and hoggish and whatever. But now you can go feed your kids.
Absolutely. Gonna go do it.
All right. Yeah. Thank you.
It's great seeing you, man. Thank you so much. Thanks for letting us talk about that property.
Anytime, Peter. Anytime.
It's a big deal. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I'll see you later, and we'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen.
Have something to add to the conversation? Give us a call at 717-420-1978 and get in the queue.
Our friends at the Association of Licensed Battlefield Guides want to see you at their 2022 Fall Seminar on September 23rd through 25th. This year's topic is Hancock 2nd Corps at Gettysburg, with a full weekend of education and social activities devoted to General Hancock and his Corps. The Licensed Battlefield Guides have some superb 2nd Corps-themed battlefield tours lined up for you, including Attack of the Irish Brigade, Caldwell Strikes the Wheat Field, and more. On top of that, there will be a Friday night night speaker and dinner at the Dobbin House, Saturday night cigars at the Rupp House, maps, and other extras. And if that wasn't good enough, how about this? Special hotel room rates are available for you at the 1863 Inn of Gettysburg, but you got to make sure that you reserve a room before August 9th. Register for the tours on the ALBG website at gettysburgtourguides.org/ALBG seminar. Those dates again are September 23rd through 25th. Come and learn about Hancock and the Second Corps with your favorite licensed battlefield guides and fellow Gettys nerds. We hope to see you there.
You've heard us promote various ways that you can help us keep the show going, but one way we haven't pushed too much is our sutlery at addressinggettysburg.com/shop. That's a shame because we have designs over there by talented artists like Ty DeWitt of 1863 Designs and Mike Stretch of the Heritage Depot. So now we're promoting it. Buying shirts, hoodies, mugs, and other items from our sutlery not only helps us keep the lights on, but it also helps guys like Ty and Mike, and it helps spread the word about the show every time you wear an item or you sip from your mug. So head over to addressinggettysburg.com/shop and grab some merch. It's the perfect Christmas gift for the Gettys nerd in your family. That's addressinggettysburg.com/shop.
Gettysburg, a Nation Divided mobile app, is relaunching this summer. Gettysburg, a Nation Divided is an award-winning mixed reality mobile application using augmented reality technology. It transports users into the most crucial moments in the Battle of Gettysburg, the turning point of the Civil War. Users can listen and watch historic figures share their stories as lifelike animated avatars, traverse 360-degree image sequences of the battlefield. Its cinematic battle sequences are narrated by actor Scott Eastwood. The mobile app is available for free on iOS and Android. It's designed to be used anywhere, at home, at school, at the park, or at Gettysburg National Military Park. It uses GPS to help guide you through your journey to see the stories and events unfold at the exact location where they occurred. So go into your phone's app store and get it now for free. That's Gettysburg, a Nation Divided.
Need a Corps badge or other insignia for your uniform? Then check out the Badge Maker. Here's what some of his satisfied customers had to say. Miranda said, "I ordered an identification disc from Joe and it's fantastic. He hand stamped it exactly as I wanted. It has a great rough on-campaign feel to it and was reasonably priced to boot." Greg said, "My unit has purchased from him in the past. Quality badges and good service." And Jerry S. says, "The Badge Maker is the go-to place for accurate replica Civil War badges. Visit CivilWarCorpsBadges.com and attach a message with your order saying you heard about him on Addressing Gettysburg."
The Seminary Ridge Museum and Education Center, Gettysburg's premier museum, is housed in the historic Lutheran Seminary building constructed in 1832, a witness to the first day of battle. The museum's 3 floors of exhibits connect visitors to the dilemmas that led to the Civil War, provide a powerful and personal view of the battle's first day, and explore one of the battlefield's largest hospitals. No visit to the Seminary Ridge Museum and Education Center is complete without a guided tour of the building's famous cupola, where on the eve of battle, officers and civilians saw thousands of Confederate soldiers' campfires burning to the west, and Brigadier General John Buford watched for vital federal reinforcements as fighting erupted on July 1st. Today, you can stand where Buford stood and delivered the line,
"There's a devil to pay,"
and discover how this view helped chart the course of the Battle of Gettysburg. Trust me when I say, ladies and gentlemen, your trip to Gettysburg is not complete without a serious visit to the Seminary Ridge Museum and Education Center, Gettysburg's premier museum. Go to www.seminaryridgemuseum.org or find them at 111 Seminary Ridge, Gettysburg. The Seminary Ridge Museum and Education Center. It all began here. Our favorite bookstore in Gettysburg is For the Historian, located at 42 York Street. Isn't it, Eric?
You're darn tootin', Matt.
It's because they have the best selection of Civil War books in Gettysburg, both new and used, and online they have even more books to choose from.
But Matthew, what if the Civil War is simply not my thing?
Not a problem, my fine four-fendered friend. This is For the Historian, after all. They cover history from the ancient world to the 21st century with a strong selection of World War II and American Revolution books.
It's astounding how they squeeze thousands of titles from Osprey, Savas Beatty, UNC Press, and more into their store.
And it's also astounding how you and I both squeeze into our pants every day. Well, handsome, they have a warehouse too, and that's where they keep all those books that are available online at forthehistorian.com. And folks, if you go to forthehistorian.com now and order books until you're blue in the
the face, be sure you mention that you heard about them on Addressing Gettysburg in the Note to Seller box, and they will refund your shipping costs.
What if I prefer to browse in the store and don't want to go online to get my books?
Great question, Doodlebug. Just mention Addressing Gettysburg at checkout, and they'll take 20% off the retail price of your item. So go to forthehistorian.com, stop by 42 York Street, or call 717-685-5207. That's forthehistorian.com or 717-685-5207.
This special episode of Addressing Gettysburg is brought to you in part by me, audiobook narrator Mike Scott, narrator of Savis Beattie's Bloody Autumn, the Shenandoah Valley Campaign of 1864, and Unlike Anything That Ever Floated, the Monitor and Virginia and the Battle of Hampton Roads. If you are an author or publisher interested in having your titles produced as audiobooks, or even just in learning more about the process, give me a shout. You can find my contact info on my website, MikeScottVoice.com. That's MikeScottVoice.com. Hey, historian, author, and licensed battlefield guide Tim Smith. Matt gave me a full minute, so let me ask you an important question. Isn't it about time that John Burns' Hero of Gettysburg became an audiobook? Sickles has an audiobook. You know Jenny Wade is going to deserve an audiobook. Let's give John a shot. Get in touch, Tim. It's MikeScottVoice.com. I'm Mike Scott, your voice of history.
And Civil War Trails. It's the world's largest open-air museum, and they offer over 1,300 sites across 6 states. Drive the Gettysburg campaign turn by turn, paddle to Frederick Douglass's birthplace, or hike to remote earthworks and artillery positions. Visit civilwartrails.org to request a brochure and explore their interactive map. Follow Civil War Trails and create some history of your own.
You're listening to the Addressing Gettysburg podcast with Matt Callery.
Glad you stuck around. We're back. Here's Matt.
Okay, sorry. Eric and I were just talking there. Estelle and Glenn, if you'd like to join us, you can sit down here. There you go. Very good. Very good. Yes, sit on the X. All right. All right, so we're back. We've got Swayze Phillips, our friend Ken here. Which persona are you using? Are you Swayze or are you Ken?
Probably just Ken.
Oh, you're Ken right now.
The Swayze part
okay. We'll work on Swayze. We got Ken and Estella and Glenn, and you guys are all in town, I'm assuming, for the tour and the show, right?
Yes.
Yes. And where you come from, Ohio?
Indiana.
Indiana. So you came all the way out here for that, so that's nice. And then you guys are from up north in PA, right?
Yes.
Yes. Where in PA are you from?
Red Hill.
Red Hill. What's that by?
40 miles north of Philly.
49. Okay, so you're like way east.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. And so that's what we're doing, folks. We have our Get Out of the Car tour. We're back. We've resumed after taking July off. And what we're doing, what are we doing here? Roads Division.
Right.
Thank you. Roads Division. We're going to start that at 10 o'clock as always, and get there earlier and park. And
We're legal.
Park where legal. Always where legal. And there's only so many spaces in the Peace Light lot, so you might have to park on the road somewhere along the way. Don't park on the Mummersburg Road. Park on park roads, but make sure you're parking in spaces. Do not make spaces of your own on the grass or anything like that. And we're going to meet at the Peace Light and go from there and everything like that. So, yeah. And then we got the show at night. Mm-hmm. And no more tickets available, ladies and gentlemen. So if you wanted to buy them at the last minute, sorry. You should have jumped on that sooner like everybody else did. You looking forward to this show?
Oh, I am.
What are you looking forward to?
I think it's just to get together with everyone.
The camaraderie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So me and Gary and Tim have nothing to do with it, so we don't even need to really do the show.
No.
All right, we're just going to hang out then. That makes it easier for me. I don't need to do anything. We'll just hang out and mingle. I like that idea. Yeah. We're going to do something like that at the end of winter.
Yeah.
Because we noticed the committee, the party planning committee or whatever we're calling it, we noticed that last April, everyone seemed so excited to be back out of the house and seeing everybody that there was like half the group kind of separated to talk. And that's kind of, it's kind of rude to Lewis, and because he works all winter on putting these things together. So we said, you know what, let's get the Wiggles out. We'll do something the night before so that everybody's gotten that out of the way, and now we can just go and tour.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. We don't know what we're going to do yet, but we're going to figure something out. Maybe we'll just hang out at the Farnsworth house. Who knows? That's all we need to do, right? It doesn't need to be special. We can just go hang out.
That's right.
Yeah. So that's what we'll do. We'll announce that when the time is right and we know what the hell we're doing.
All right.
Yeah. But you heard Cameron on the phone before?
I did.
Was it more magical to be in the studio when a live call from Cameron comes through, or is it just as magical as when you listen at home?
It's just as magical anywhere.
Yeah, he is a magical boy.
It's Cam.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. He's a remarkable young fella. Let's see. Let me see here. I want to make sure I don't forget anything. Yes. Okay. No, that's good. All right. So what we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen, back home, is we're going to end the show because we don't really have a lot to talk about. Like I said, I've been preparing for Saturday's show. It's going to be fun. We're going to have a trivia game like we did last time with the, lines like, hey, so-and-so, and who did he say it to, and everything. And it's a shame that Cameron won't be here because I would love to have let him have a rematch, But no, he's got to be off in North Dakota or wherever he is, and that's terrible. That's terrible.
It's horrible.
It is horrible. But whatever. Maybe someone else in the audience will rise up and take his place, be the new Cameron, and who knows? Maybe it's somebody from New Hampshire with one of those crazy New Hampshire accents, instead of the crazy West Virginia accent. And then I got to learn how to do that. I don't even know how their accent goes. Do you know a New Hampshire accent?
Do not.
No. It's probably like close to a Massachusetts accent, I would imagine, right? That kind of weird way of talk. I can't even do it.
I can't do
it. Anybody from New England, you just do Kennedy, right? Either Kennedy, Ted or Jack, doesn't matter.
Right.
You do it Kennedy.
Okay. That works.
All right. No, that's fine, Estelle. It's okay. You don't have to have it. Anyway, so that's it. So I hope we see you guys out at the tour on Saturday. I can't wait to see everybody on for the show Saturday night. It's going to be a lot of fun. And, it's going to be like Woodstock. That's what I keep saying. But, we got a whole bunch of brown acid and crazy bands.
That's
and
not
a lot of mud. That's not true. We have no drugs. Just fun. We'll see you then, folks.
Addressing Gettysburg Today is hosted by Matt Callery and Veronica Brestensky, Esquire. Produced by Eric, the producer, Moni. Applause led by Owen the Clabber. Guests of Addressing Gettysburg Today stay wherever they want. That's not our concern. To be a guest on the show, send an email to eric@addressinggettysburg.com. Addressing Gettysburg broadcasts from the Gettys Bike Tour Studios. Get a 15% discount on your next tour with Gettys Bike. I'm Huevos Grande, the voice of Addressing Gettysburg Today. Thanks for listening.
If it looks like a duck, walks like a duck,